Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. And I'm happy to be here with you today, here in the middle of a week. And I've been talking about the promises of God as recorded in the Gospels. I have another one for you today, one that you've probably heard, or many of you have. It's from Matthew chapter 11, and beginning with verse 28. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and who carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." Jesus says, you can't get any better than that. And he said a lot of things we probably ought to listen to. And here's one of them. Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens. Now, he's using the imagery of an ox because that's what they used in Jesus' day to transport things. He has other references to ox and yokens and that sort of thing. But here he's talking about carrying the load. Now, you and I oftentimes have some pretty heavy loads. Oh, I don't mean physical loads. No, I mean emotional loads, worry, hurts, and anguishes, maybe from the past. I know I did. I carried some burdens from the past for many, many, many years. And I realized that I couldn't bear them. I really couldn't. I'm a pretty good sized fella. Not a little guy, those of you who know me. I'm not huge, but I take up a lot of space. And I used to be pretty good with lifting weights. Injuries and other things over the years have slowed that down. But I was pretty strong. But even that, I couldn't lift some things. Jesus says, look, you don't have to. Here's a promise, okay? A promise. You don't have to carry some of those burdens. He'll take them. Here's what he says. Take my yoke upon you and let me teach you. You know, you can't get any better than getting teaching from Jesus himself. He wants to help us. He wants to live with us through this journey of life here. He wants to shoulder the struggles that you and I can't shoulder. And how do you do it? He says, take my yoke. And what is his yoke? Well, his yoke is to trust him. Now, I know trust is hard. And for some people, because of their life experiences, the ability to trust is just about gone. But it doesn't have to be. God will renew that if we give our burdens to him. He says, I'm humble and I'm gentle. God's not going to impose on you something that's so awful you can't withstand it. Now, that doesn't mean nothing bad will happen. I wish I had a formula to keep bad things from happening. Well, actually, I do. It's called heaven. but I don't have a quick route there. There's no straight interstate. You gotta you gotta go through the windy turns and the switchbacks and all this sort of stuff and the ups and the downs. But it is out there. So we can relax in terms of long term. We really know what's going to happen, at least those of us who walk with God and care about Him. So Jesus says, and here's the promise to you and to me. First off, when you have burdens, come to Him. How do you come to God? Well, you talk to Him, just like I'm talking to you. Or you talk to your neighbor or your spouse or your friends. You just open your mouth, or if you can't do that, you just close your mouth and talk silently and ask Jesus to come. Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and give them to Him. I've prayed many times in my life, Lord, I don't know what you're doing, but I know that you know. So please help me to trust that you know what you're doing. And that was the best prayer I could come up with. I really wish I had a better one, but maybe that is the best one. I don't know what God's doing many times, but He does. And if I will put my load onto His shoulders, that frees me up to live differently. It, it may not solve the problem right away. The problem may still be there. The struggle may still be pounding on me or trying to, but there's someone else who's got it in their hands. And this is Jesus's promises. He's got it in His hands, so you don't have to. And He says, my yoke is easy to bear, and my burden that I give to you is light. What an incredible promise. God says, Jesus says, I will take the load off of you, and I will give you my trust, and your load will be light. Think about that. That's a promise from the Gospel of Matthew to you today. Thanks for listening. If you have a prayer concern or a need, let me know. We'll do everything we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. Thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow talking about another promise from the Gospels in the Bible.